galera, como é que vocês estão? Tudo bem? Aqui é o Cezinho, bora pra mais episódio da nossa série de Genshin Impact. Se você não conhecia o canal, já desce aqui, se inscreve para não perder os próximos episódios, já deixa um like, deixa um comentário para estar ajudando a gente. Se você puder compartilhar o canal, eu vou ser muito grato. No último episódio, então, a gente veio ajudar a Hypatia, e aí acabou que aconteceu alguma coisa muito estranha que a gente foi teletransportado para algum lugar diferente. O mundo do lado de fora da caverna mudou e a gente investiga isso para entender o que mudou quando a gente viu aquele serzinho verde diferente no último episódio, tá certo? Bora investigar.
Wow, this place is huge! I knew there's something off about that cave. Let's think of a way to get over there and have a closer look. Who knows? Maybe we'll find a lead of some kind.
Caraca, quanta coisa tinha pra cá.
Hold the line. Our bond is strong. Confess.
Bring it on.
Eles me mandavam vir pra cá. Por aqui. Diferentes. Ah, porra. Isso não é Inazuma? Porra é essa, velho?
What happened just now? Why'd everything around us suddenly change?
Aqui é Inazuma, gente. Mano, o que tá acontecendo?
What?
What?
What the fuck?
Eu acho que a gente tem que juntar essas pedrinhas aqui, é isso?
Aham.
Onde eu peguei aquele baúzinho, então acho que de fato a gente tinha que entrar aqui, né? Olha, virou um pomo de ouro verde. Azul. Brisa, velho. Eu não lembrava que era um negócio assim no começo. E é isso, vai me matar? Que é isso? E aqui? Tem mais um que eu tenho que pegar, né? Ah, tá aqui, ó. E aí com esses três eu uso pra abrir essa porta, né? Eu achei que ela ia abrir sozinha.
Bruh.
Da hora. Eu vou ficar me jogando pra Inazuma de volta.
What the cavat is going on here? This place is getting weirder by the minute. Hey, what's the matter? You don't look so good.
Tem que me alinhar esse desenho? Cara, que brisa, velho. Que brisa, mano. O que tá acontecendo?
Ah, vá merda, porra! Vá merda!
É pra desfatuo, mano? Ah, não, do abismo, é?
Looks like we meet again, traveler.
The Abyss Herald! What are you planning to do?
Você não é aquele que viaja com a nossa irmã?
Strange place. Plotting. You needn't worry about such such things. They don't concern you.
Caralho, o bicho tá grosso, velho.
Allow me. Dissipate. Fuse is lit.
Fracture! Keep moving!
Time for a let show.
Por que não tá reduzindo o escudo dele? Pô, não é a reação que mais... Toma isso. Não era pra derrotar, então?
Why can't we beat this guy? Oh, Paimon doesn't get it. We faced others like him before. What's wrong this time?
Traveler, though you may have managed to avert countless crises before, your good fortune was bound to end sooner or later. It's time you realize how weak
Carinha de assustada dela, que fofa. Seguirei em frente para encontrar a minha irmã.
your sister. Oh, pitiful traveler. Are you really so ignorant? Or are you just living in complete denial? Her Highness has long since forsaken you. Your meager existence in her eyes is that of an annoying bug. The bonds of love and family which drive you to find your sibling are utterly gone. Your journey is meaningless. But don't you fret now. Today will be your last. Now die!
Ah, porra. Vamos de arrasta? Que?
What do we do? We haven't seen Hypatia anywhere out here. Oh, there she is. Quick, let's see how she's doing.
Pera. Só eu tô perdido no que tá acontecendo?
So sweet.
Well, the good news is that she's still conscious. Hey, why'd you drop her food on the floor like that? Oh, guess that makes sense. She does look kind of rough at the moment.
Nem a Paimon lembra?
Anyways, we can talk about this later. We better make sure she's alright first.
Pô, isso não tá normal, velho. Essa história não tá fazendo sentido nenhum.
Wait a sec. Look at all this fruit lying around her. We can put that to good use.
Who is there? Tainari, is that you?
Ah, sim, igualzinho.
Huh?
It's okay. You can relax, Hypatia. Tainari sent us here to bring you some food and water. Here, we have a letter that he asked us to give you.
I see. So, you're friends of Tainari. I apologize for all the trouble I've caused you.
Imagina, só ignorou a gente, me transportou pra um mundo maluco.
Well, actually, we didn't bring the fruit. It was already here when we arrived. We were kind of wondering about that, actually. When we found you here, there was all this fruit lying around and even some juice dripping from your lips. How did you end up like this anyway?
Oh, really? I seem to understand now. All the fruit was likely from my, neighbor. He must have come by and saw me like this.
Your neighbor? You mean there's someone else living nearby?
Uma criatura redonda.
So you're able to see them too?
Ah, aquele verdinho. É verdade. Mas a Paimon não chegou a ver ele.
Wait, hold on a second, traveler. You say that before we arrived, you saw some mysterious creature and suddenly had a strange dream? Isn't that a little too crazy to believe?
No, I actually do believe what the traveler is saying. I myself had a similar experience once before and ended up scaring my timid little neighbor here. You needn't worry. They mean you no harm. They only dragged you into the dream because they hoped to
E
buy
óculos
themselves a
estranho,
little
né? Sem a
time
parte
in
de
order to
cima.
scurry away.
Aisha, just what kind of creature is your neighbor exactly?
I'm not sure what it's called, to be honest. But I do know that they have some sort of deeper connection with the Dendro-Archon. I know this because the first time I saw them was also the exact day my consciousness was able to form a connection with Irminsul. Even after I opened my eyes and stopped meditating, my heart was still pounding, and my mind was racing with all the knowledge that I had touched. And at that very moment, I suddenly noticed a small figure at the opening of the cave. In my curiosity, I began to walk over to the creature. They must have already been used to me living in the cave, because they didn't seem to mind me approaching them. They just kept doing whatever they were up to. It wasn't until I crouched down next to them that they suddenly realized that I could see them.
Oh, and then?
And then I had a dream. By the time I came to, they were nowhere to be seen. I was convinced they'd never show up again. But sure enough, I saw them nearby a few days later. And they weren't alone.
Ah, então isso que eu tive foi tipo sonho.
I feel like they aren't as afraid of me as the first time I approached them. But I never would have expected them to save me. Yes, no doubt about that. By the way, Tighnari mentioned in his letter that you had questions for me regarding Irminsul. Sorry about that. Sounds like gesturing juice still isn't quite enough for my stomach.
Well, if somebody hadn't dropped the food earlier... Anyway, looks like we'll need to prepare something ourselves. Besides, Paimon's getting hungry
E quando você não tá com fome, né, Paimon?
Let's eat first and talk about Irminsul later. Alright, we're up, traveler. Today's menu will feature sweet madame and a radish veggie soup. You'll love them, Hypatia. They're our specialties after all.
Sounds good. I've never tried any dishes from other nations before. I certainly look forward to it. It's been so long since I've had a decent meal, too.
Uma hora depois.
Ó, moça, come. Ai, pelo amor de Deus,
Are you
come.
already finished cooking? Smells delectable. I'm truly thankful whenever I can enjoy a proper meal like this. Cooking really isn't my forte.
Ó, ó comidinha, moça.
Even though everything you mentioned was in Tighnari's letter, it's still hard to believe you were able to connect with Irminsul immediately after smelling Spiritborn eel for the first time.
Sabe como é que é, né, moça? Conexão espiritual aqui é avançadíssima. Quase um avatar.
Even lauded me as a genius. You should know that some researchers spent their entire lives without ever successfully connecting with Irminsul as you have.
Ah, bando de noob.
So why does this incense allow people to connect to Irminsul?
The ingredients used to make Spiritborn eel primarily consist of plants created by Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. These special ingredients are conducive to heightening our senses to the Dendro-Archon's power. Since the root of the Dendro-Archon's power lies within Irminsul, we can occasionally tap into her powers to peer into the depths of the earth. Naturally, anyone who can establish a connection
Como se o
with
negócio lhe
Irminsul in the first
transmitisse
ever attempt
e
must be a
aflorasse o
person of
sentido de
great
conexão com o
understanding.
poder Dendro, é isso?
Makes sense. But Paimon's got a question. Why was he sensitive to the smell of those plants for such a long time?
That was primarily due to his body's unique constitution. Stimulated by the incense, he could perceive the Dendro-Archon's power and experienced a sensory overload. Taking in any scent similar to the ingredients of Spiritborn eel would cause adverse effects. Not to worry though.
A gente meio que entra em sobrecarga, é isso, né?
Technically, your body should still be sensitive to the powers of the Dendro-Archon. But unless you're using intentional meditation techniques, the scent of Spiritborn eel should no longer trigger such reactions.
Legal. Bom, pelo menos, né?
I must admit, I am quite envious of your abilities.
Claro.
Even if it meant suffering from pounding headaches for the rest of my life, I'd consider it worthwhile so long as I could connect with Irminsul at will.
Whoa, you're really serious about this whole thing, aren't you?
Você acha, pai? Passa 3 dias meditando sem comer porra nenhuma no meio do mato pra conectar a conexão. Essa mulher... Ah, maluca.
My main area of research is stars and their connection to the fate of living beings. But there is still so much we don't know, especially regarding
Observando
the
a
mysteries
gente.
that lie in the starry skies. Which is why I must turn to the all-knowing Irminsul for answers. If only my perception wasn't so limited. Unfortunately, I cannot guarantee that my every attempt to attune with Irminsul will be successful, or that doing so will leave my consciousness intact. I am currently in the stage of training known as Satyavada life. Many researchers in
Vida
Sumeru have lost
Satyavada.
their minds while seeking to attune with Irminsul during this stage. Sages have said that Irminsul contains
Nossa.
divine knowledge, and touching such knowledge without the proper preparations and abilities will only lead to one's mind caving in on itself. That's why we meditate alone. We need to ensure that our minds will be calm while minimizing the possibility of involving anyone else.
Whoa. So knowledge
Caralho,
from
que negócio
Irminsul
sério,
can be super
mano.
dangerous. Don't you ever feel afraid of the risk, Hypatia?
Of course I do. Especially during nights that are pitch black with no moonlight, and dead silent without even the sound of insects. However, I've been feeling better as of late. I don't get as scared anymore knowing that I have a little neighbor living nearby. I believe that being able to see them is a sort of blessing from the Dendro Arc. But what's strangest of all is that they're clearly an envoy of the god of wisdom herself. And they have the curious power to make people dream.
What's so strange about that?
Ué.
It doesn't sound so out of place for a divine being, does it?
É, meio que geral sonha, não é?
It's strange because nearly nobody in Sumeru can ever dream.
Hã?
Oh. Is that true?
Yes, well, to an extent. Only children can dream in Sumeru. Adults, however, never do.
Mano, que porra de
The
peculiaridade é
sages say
essa,
that wisdom
velho?
implies rationality, but that which occurs in dreams is often neither rational nor logical. Yes, if one struggles with anxieties, those emotions could influence their dreams. The fact that the people of Sumeru do not have dreams is seen as a blessing by the sages. They believe that Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, the god of wisdom, is keeping us away from the foolish delusions you encounter in your sleep. I was born
Mentira,
into
né,
a
mano?
family of scholars in Sumeru City. Ever since I was a child, my parents would always tell me that I'll know I've grown up once I stop dreaming. I studied hard, enrolled as a student in the academia, and went on to become a researcher. Sure enough, I never dreamed again.
Não, mano, oh, deve ser muito
But then,
você não sonhar à
on the day I
noite.
scared the little ARRRRRRGH, I suddenly saw a dream again.
Ah, então você sabe que ele é um Aranara?
It was incredible. Though I don't exactly remember what I saw, I clearly recall the feeling. I suddenly felt like I was a child again. Back then, I was foolish and ignorant as any youth would be. But I was free of fear. Maybe dreaming isn't as bad as we've made it out to be.
Claro que não, sonhar é ótimo, é
Just
incrível.
be sure not to
Às vezes
speak of
assusta
this if you
muito, mas
travel
é
to Sumeru
incrível.
City. They'll look at you as if you've lost your mind.
So, do you have any thoughts about the things he saw when he connected with Irmin's?
Sorry. I'm afraid I don't have any answers as of now. All I can say is that what you saw is a memory contained within Irminsul itself.
Memória? Ah, é isso, é verdade. Falava isso, né?
What could that possibly
Quando
mean?
esqueça-me.
If only I could ascend past Satyavada life and begin Paripurna life. I might have some more answers for you.
Paripurna.
If you two are ever in the
Tá
area
tudo
again,
bem.
please be sure to come and see me. There's no need to be thanking me. You two are my saviors. Besides, I'm already looking forward to tasting some more of your cooking.
Pô, falam tanto da habilidade culinária do Traveler que até eu às vezes tenho vontade, né?
Now that we know Hypatia is alright and had the chance to ask her some questions, Paimon thinks it's about time to head back to Gandharvaville.
2000 anos depois.
Think about
Kainar,
it, Tamari,
malandro.
refusing to
Você
join
não
is
faz
tantamount
ideia do
to
que
burying
aconteceu,
your head
velho.
in the sand. I understand that you're a forest watcher and that it's your duty to combat the effects of withering zones. But isn't it evident that such work is not a lasting solution to the problem? As Sage
São
Kage clearly
vocês,
stated,
mano.
your presence and guidance in Sumeru City is pivotal in finding a cure for Irminsul. How could you possibly refuse?
Keep your emotions in check, Ghulam. Let's at least listen to Tainari's reason for declining. We're here to invite him to the academia, not to cause a scene.
Será que esse cara... Ah, tá. Esse cara é um
Sage
dos
Kage,
sábios.
I am truly honored that you came here in person, but I'm afraid I must still decline your... I am merely a forest watcher. How could the great minds of the Haravatat have any need of someone like me?
Well, it turns out that your refusal letter had some implications on your master's reputation. He is a renowned sage of the Immorta, after all. So now I've come here in his stead.
I see. Well, I figured that given his temper, he would come here and berate me personally.
Tainari, your master is an integral part of this effort, and now he requires your assistance.
And what exactly does my master need of me, Sage Kage?
You'll know, once you've arrived in Sumeru City, that is.
And, how long will I be required to stay?
There's no definite answer as of now.
Do you mean to
Gostei
tell
do
me that,
bigodinho deles,
despite
grandão,
coming
né?
all the way here to Gandharvaville, you still can't answer the questions I laid out in the letter to my master? If that's the case, then I'm afraid I cannot give you a definite answer either.
Tainari, but you...
Mas, gente...
So be it. Come, Gulam, we're leaving.
Pô, um pouquinho intransigentes eles, né? Apesar que o Tainari foi sincero, né? Gente, eu mandei na carta perguntando essas coisas. Vocês têm o trabalho de vir de lá até aqui pra me falar um negócio e, tipo, vocês não sabem responder o que eu perguntei na carta? Vocês já sabiam que eu ia perguntar
What
isso?
was that all about?
It's nothing. Some people from the academia wanted me to go to Sumeru City to assist them with a project, but I had to refuse on account of all my responsibilities here. But all that can wait. How did things go with Hypatia?
It was quite the eventful
Foi uma
trip.
coisa
But the main thing
maluca,
is
mano.
that she's safe and sound. She answered a bunch of questions for us, too.
Very good. Now that the Traveler has made a full recovery, there shouldn't be any reason for you to tarry here longer. I assume you will be heading to Sumeru City, correct?
Se Deus quiser.
That's right. We want to meet Lesser Lord Kusanali and ask her for advice. Do you have any idea on how we can find her?
Seria ótimo.
Sorry, I'm afraid I don't have any advice for you there.
Well, do you at least know anyone we can try asking in Sumeru City?
Let me think. My trips to Sumeru City have been fairly short, and most of my acquaintances are researchers. Oh, how about this? I'll write you a letter of introduction that you can give to a researcher I know. He's from the Amorta Darshan and is adept
Esses
at gathering
Darshans, eles são
information.
tipo
Asking him might prove
umas
worthwhile.
frentes de pesquisa, os clãs dentro da academia.
Also, when you enter Sumeru City, you'll probably end up receiving something like this item here. I'm not sure if it will ever come in handy for you, but maybe you can give it a try.
Oh? What is it?
It's called an Akasha Terminal. It's a tool produced by the Academia that utilizes the legacy of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. Some say that this item is the very basis of Sumeru's reputation as the City of Wisdom. Needless to say, this device and its usage fall under the Academia's expertise, so I'll leave it to them to show you how to use it.
Great! Next up, Sumeru City! But wait, before that, that's right! Tainari, we have something important to say to Kale before we leave. Is she doing better now?
Yes, she's doing much better. After being confined to her bed all this time, I thought a little walk would do her some good. Last I saw her, she was taking the path towards the North Cross. She knew you two would be leaving soon, so she must have wanted to see you off.
Então, beleza.
Tainari.
Vamos lá, a gente fala com ela e
Farewell,
depois a gente
and
vai
good
pra
luck
cidade
to you
de
both.
Sumero, né? Ah, Sofia, como é bom ver você de pé.
I've been waiting for you two. Never mind. I guess I should just wish you two a safe and successful journey.
Sofia, Sofia.
Thanks for waiting here just to see us off, Kale. We're headed to Sumeru City.
Don't worry about me. I can take care of myself. My condition won't be getting in the way of my duties. I want to be a forest ranger after all. It's up to me and the others to protect the rainforest here. And, I'm sorry. I should have told you both about my
Ah,
condition
fica
when we first met.
tranquila, tadinha.
I just wanted you two to treat me as a normal friend, not some girl that needs your sympathy. But I guess now I understand that the most important thing is for friends to be genuine with one another.
Sim, exato.
There's no need to apologize, Kale. We should be thanking you for trusting us enough to be your friends and sharing your past with us. We're probably still gonna worry about your condition, but that's because we're friends and we care about you.
Thank you. That means a lot. Before you leave, I have something for you.
É receita de pompita? Você falou que você ia dar pra nós?
It's my recipe for pita pie.
Yes!
I told you that I'd give you a copy, remember? My handwriting is a little, messy, so please don't laugh.
Yay! Thanks, Kale. Now we can eat those scrumptious little pitas whenever and wherever we like.
I hope that whenever you eat them, you'll both remember your time here in Gandharvaville. Well then, I, trainee Forest Ranger Kale, bid you both farewell. Please visit Gandharvaville again. The Rangers will always be ready to assist you here.
E a gente vai ficando por aqui no episódio de hoje, galera. No próximo episódio, então, a gente vai finalmente pra cidade de Sumério. Eu sei que talvez essa primeira parte tenha sido um pouquinho cansativa, porque parece que a gente não avançou tanto, mas eu acho que o que mais vale a pena nesse jogo do Genshin Impact é o enredo, né? A história dele. Então eu valorizo muito quando a gente tem, às vezes, uns momentos até mais de só mais conversa e prestar atenção no que de fato tá fazendo os combates, tá fazendo as coisas, porque é assim que a gente aprende sobre uma das melhores partes desse jogo, que é a história, que é o entrelaçamento do que acontece, as justificativas e a criatividade dos criadores. Eu acho que isso vale muito a pena. Então, se você achou um pouco cansativo, um pouco enrolativo, um pouco de enrolação demais, eu entendo você, tá bom? Eu só peço que você se inscreva, porque daqui pra frente a tendência é que isso fique cada vez mais pra trás e a gente vá pra muito mais ação, tá certo? Muito obrigado mesmo. Não esquece, deixa um like, deixa um comentário, se inscreve e compartilha se você puder. Eu vou ser muito grato. Muito obrigado sempre e até a próxima. Valeu! Falou!